What is going on, everybody on YouTube? It's your boy Jacob Daniel back at it again here at the Speed Kills podcast. Now, recently I did a mock draft. We're going to get into that today. Let's get into it. All right, my mock draft that I recently did was a 2-quarterback PPR 10-team league, and I used Draft Wizard from thefantasypros.com. I'll leave a link to it in the description if you want to do this. All right, I had the 4th pick in the draft. And it was a snake draft, so when it came back around in the second round, I have the 7th pick. All right, let's get into my first round selection. With the 4th pick of the first round, I was lucky enough to pick David Johnson. Now, David Johnson slid to the 4th pick, and in my opinion, David Johnson should be the first pick in every fantasy football draft, whether it's PPR, 2-quarterback, standard, super flex. David Johnson, tremendous runner, can catch the ball out of the backfield. He had a 2,000-yard combined receiving and rushing season last year, was an absolute beast. He was on my team last year. I love this guy. I think he's the number one pick no matter what league you're in. I can see you making an argument for Le'Veon Bell, but I believe that David Johnson should be the number one overall pick, and I was lucky enough to pick him 4th. Extremely lucky. I love this pick with the 104. All right, in the second round with the 7th pick, I went 2 running backs in a row, and I went Devonta Freeman with the 207. I like this pick. I actually like going running back heavy, and you'll see that I did this in this mock draft just to see how it would go. Devonta Freeman, obviously, very powerful offense with the Atlanta Falcons. They might not be as powerful this year. They might regress a little, but I still think he is a really good back. Can catch the ball out of the backfield. Very good runner. Obviously, Tevin Coleman will take some of those carries, some of those catches away, which that's one of those handcuff situations, which I don't like. But I do like Devonta Freeman. In the second round, I thought this was a steal. He's still in that tier 1 of the running backs. I like this pick. I like this pick at 207. All right, let's get into the third round. With the 4th pick of the third round, I picked DeMarco Murray with the 304. Like I said, I went running back heavy with the first 3 picks. I like DeMarco Murray with the Tennessee Titans. Very run-heavy offense down in Tennessee. Very good offensive line. He'll definitely get a lot of touchdowns. It's another handcuff situation with Derrick Henry that Derrick Henry's really good, and he might take away some of those touchdowns, some of those carries. But like Devonta Freeman, he is in that tier 1 of the running backs. I love this pick. Like I said, getting 3 of the premier tier 1 running backs is just amazing. In this situation, I might trade one off, but I think getting 3 of the top tier running backs was just phenomenal. So I picked DeMarco Murray with the 304. I love this pick as well. All right. In the 4th round with the 7th pick, I picked Doug Baldwin with the 407. Now, this guy, obviously number 1 receiver with the Seattle Seahawks. He was kind of staticky last year. I had him on my team personally. But I think he's a top 10, top 11 wide receiver that you can pick up right now because you don't know what they're going to do in the season. But I like Doug Baldwin. Is definitely going to get some targets. With Russell Wilson, with the running quarterback thing, it's kind of targets can go here and there, but Doug Baldwin a little static, but I like this pick. I didn't see really anyone else in this situation that I could pick because I don't think Ty Montgomery's worth the 4th round, Keenan Allen's worth the 4th round, and I wasn't going to go quarterback early, even though this is a 2-quarterback league and quarterbacks seem to go fast. But I picked Doug Baldwin with the 407. Let's get in the 5th round. In the 5th round with the 4th pick, I went running back again and selected Isaiah Crowell. And honestly, I think Isaiah Crowell his ceiling is a low-end running back 1, but his floor is a running back 2. He's definitely going to get some carries. The only problem with playing with the Cleveland Browns is that the garbage time, and they might only give him passes, but this is a PPR league, so that is good for him. But see if I trade one of those top tier running backs for a wide receiver, this guy fits right in there with that running back 2 spot. I think that he's a steal or an undervalue, but I like Isaiah Crowell. I thought this was a good pick in the 5th round, so with the 504, I picked Isaiah Crowell. All right, and with the 7th pick in the 6th round, I finally went quarterback, and I picked Phillip Rivers with the 607 of the Los Angeles Chargers. That just sounds weird saying, but I know the only thing that is Phillip Rivers threw a lot of interceptions last year, which didn't help his case. I really hope he's not like that this year, but he's got all his receivers back. Tyrell Williams is back. Keenan Allen is back. Mike Williams could be a huge help if he is healthy. Hunter Henry, Antonio Gates, very good tight ends there. And he's going to throw yards. He's a gunslinger. I like this pick with Phillip Rivers. Kind of a late sleeper-ish quarterback, even though it's two quarterback league. But I finally went quarterback with the 607. All right, with the 4th pick in the 7th round, I went Larry Fitzgerald with the 704. Larry Fitzgerald, everyone's saying he's old and everything, but he's a reliable receiver, is going to get a lot of catches, a lot of targets in Arizona. Arizona has an okay offense with Carson Palmer and everything, but he is definitely going to draw targets, and I see his ceiling his floor being a low-end wide receiver 2. I don't see Larry Fitzgerald being anything lower than wide receiver 2. Gonna get, especially in a PPR league, he's gonna get you those points with those receptions, and he may be old, but he's still gonna get the job done. I think this was a very good value. The only problem that I found myself having with this pick, I could have gone Golden Tate, I could have gone Julian Edelman, but I picked Fitz. Golden Tate would have been a good option as well. Julian Edelman. Even if I wanted to go tight end, I could have got Tyler Eifert. But I went with Larry Fitzgerald with the 704. All right, with the 7th pick in the 8th round, I went quarterback again and picked up Andy Dalton. My boy Andy Dalton with the Cincinnati Bengals. Hometown pick right here. But I think Andy Dalton's poised to have a better season than definitely a better season than he did last year. We know he can be a quarterback 1 in fantasy. We know he can get it done, and especially with the weapons they added in the draft. John Ross, if he's allowed to play, no injuries, and then Joe Mixon will awfully help the running game. I think that with the weapons around him, Andy Dalton can be a quarterback 1. But I like Andy Dalton here, picking up my second quarterback with the 807. All right. In the 4th pick in the 9th round, I picked Donte Moncrief with the 904. Obviously, last year, Donte Moncrief got injured, but I still think he is a decent receiver. Honestly, ceiling being a high-end wide receiver too, but he's definitely going to get targets there in Indy with Andrew Luck as your quarterback. That helps out a lot, and I think, floor, medium, wide receiver 3, but I thought this was an okay pick. Obviously, with this pick, I could have gone Martavis Bryant, Frank Gore, or Theo Riddick. All would have been good options, but I figured I was already stacked with the running back position, and I figured that this was the best receiver on the board. If Jeremy Maclin would have fell 3 more picks, I would have picked Jeremy Maclin. That would have been a great situation, but I decided to go Donte Moncrief with the 904. All right, in the 10th round, with the 7th pick, I picked my man Willie Snead of the New Orleans Saints. Obviously, New Orleans Saints with Drew Brees and everything, targets are going to be shared everywhere. High-powered offense. I love this pick. I see him as being a really big sleeper with Brandon Cooks leaving. Michael Thomas obviously is still there. We'll go into the number 1 role for Michael Thomas, and all the best quarters are going to guard him, and they're not. Willie Snead is just really good. Targets are going to be there. Yards are going to be there. Catches are going to be there. High-powered offense down there in New Orleans. We all know what it is. I think a lot of people are expecting Willie Snead to break out. I think he's a sleeper pick in the 10th round. I love this pick. I could have gone Kareem Hunt right here, but I just think, Willie Snead just being too much of a sleeper to not pick in the 10th round. All right, in the 11th round with the 4th pick, I went Brandon Marshall. Obviously, a lot of weapons there in New York. Targets will be shared, but I wasn't sure about this pick after I picked him. Obviously, Brandon Marshall, aging a little bit, is not going to be the number one receiver there with Odell Beckham there, but he's still, I think, wide receiver 2 in that offense. What I could have gone here, I could have picked Jamison Crowder, Tyreek Hill, Kelvin Benjamin. I didn't want to go Kelvin Benjamin. I was thinking about going Jamison Crowder, but I didn't, and I picked Brandon Marshall. And I'm okay with this pick, but I think maybe Jamison Crowder would have been a better option at this point. But I still like Brandon Marshall there in New York. Just the only problem is, Eli Manning can be your quarterback and not give you targets or not throw you good balls, but I still like this pick. I thought it was a good pick in the 11th round. All right, 12th round, 7th pick, I went with Sam Bradford, added that third QB that you obviously need in 2 quarterback leagues. You want to draft 3 quarterbacks. Obviously, I felt like he was the best option to add as your third quarterback at this point. I think I got 3 quarterbacks that were sleepered and undervalued. But Sam Bradford, second year in the Vikings offense, is definitely going to improve. I like this pick. I like Sam Bradford. And obviously, they got better running backs with Latavius Murray and Dalvin Cook there. So the run game is going to be even better. Obviously has studs at wide receiver with Stephon Diggs. Adam Thielen is a sleeper as well. And Kyle Rudolph at tight end. And the guy, or Laquan Treadwell, that's the name I was searching for. He could break out as well. All right, 1304 with the 4th pick in the 13th round. I went Cameron Meredith, wide receiver for the Chicago Bears. Obviously, this is one of those garbage time situations. He is the number 1 for the Chicago Bears. I thought this was a steal in the 13th round. Definitely going to have some garbage times because they'll probably lose a lot of games, and they'll have to throw a lot, and I don't see anyone else being targeted in the Bears offense a lot besides Cameron Meredith. The whole quarterback situation could affect his production a lot, but I still think, he's a real good sleeper pick to pick in the late rounds that could break out. All right, 14th round, I finally had to address the tight end position. So at the 1407, I went Coby Fleener, New Orleans Saints guy. The only problem, I was listening to a podcast this week that they were saying that, Coby Fleener can't get over 50 receptions. That's bad when it comes to being in a PPR league. I forget what other tight ends were on the board at this time, but I thought he was the best choice. I probably should have gone tight end earlier. That was obviously one of my weaknesses in this mock draft. That's why you mock draft to get better. But obviously, Jimmy Graham a couple years ago in that offense exploded. The Saints are still looking for that explosive tight end, but definitely, like I said with Willie Snead, targets are going to go everywhere, so Coby Fleener is going to draw targets, hopefully draw touchdowns and a lot of yards. All right, with the 4th pick in the 15th round, I went Corey Coleman. He's obviously been dropping his ADP just because he has a hamstring injury recently, but he'll be better by the season. He exploded last year for these 2 games. In 1 game, I think he had 2 touchdowns and a lot of yards. And this is another one of those garbage team situations where they're going to have to throw. He is definitely the Browns' number 1 receiver. Just like I was saying with Cameron Meredith, I don't see them throwing to anyone else that much. Maybe Kenny Britt for the Browns, but I still think this is a good potential breakout player, or good pick. The only other people that I saw that I would be able to pick right here would be Derrick Henry or Jamal Charles, but Derrick Henry, of course, is a handcuff, and then Jamal Charles is definitely a flyer pick. 1607, I went Minnesota Vikings. You just select your defense. And then 1704, I went Dan Bailey for kicker. And looking over my team, I'll read you the roster. My quarterback was Phillip Rivers, Andy Dalton, running back, David Johnson, Devonta Freeman, wide receiver, Doug Baldwin, wide receiver, Larry Fitzgerald, tight end, Coby Fleener. My flex would be DeMarco Murray. On our bench is Isaiah Crowell, Donte Moncrief, Willie Snead, Brandon Marshall, Sam Bradford, and Cameron Meredith, Corey Coleman. Honestly, of roster makeup, I see this being a really good team. Obviously, three power in those tier 1 running backs. Running back being one of my strengths. Weakness, kind of a tight end, and even maybe a little bit wide receiver. I don't see wide receiver being too weak, but I really like this team. I went heavy with the running backs, and about this draft, it seemed that the draft wizard, the simulator that it is, had a lot of quarterbacks going really early in this 2-quarterback league, and I play in a 2-quarterback league, and I don't see them going that fast, but I think I got a lot of 3 good quarterbacks that are sleepers and undervalued. So I think my quarterbacks would be fine. Running back, strong position, like I was saying. The only weakness, maybe a tight end, but I think streaming a tight end is a very viable option. So that was my mock draft. I hope you guys liked it. Thank you to everyone who has been subscribing recently. I think I have 35 subscribers. Shout out to you guys for getting for subscribing and getting all my videos, all those views. You guys are awesome. # Speed Squad, if that's what my subscribers want to be called. Tell me what you think in the comments about my mock draft. I'll see you for another videos, guys, soon. It's been Jacob Daniel at the Speed Kills Podcast. Peace.